Welcome back to your instant match reaction. Spurs have beaten Southampton by 5-0 in what was an emphatic victory. All 5 goals coming in one rampant first half at St Mary's. James Maddison at the double. In fact, we were dominant from minute 1, quite literally. Maddison putting Spurs ahead after the first minute. We were 3-0 up inside of, what was it,
27 minutes.
27 minutes, 2-0 up after 12 minutes. 2 goals from Maddison, 1 goal from Son, 1 goal from Sarr, and another from Kulusevski. We had the job done in the first half, and we did clearly take our foot off the gas in the second half and kind of we took it easy, I think it's fair to say, in that second half. But exactly what we needed ahead of a very difficult week, ahead of what was a lot of pressure mounting on Ange specifically, and the team, a lot of questions being asked. And I wouldn't say, this was a response to it, but, runs have to start somewhere, I should say, and we have to kind of, we played Southampton away. It could have been a tricky game. I've seen them take points off the likes of Brighton, gave Liverpool a very, very difficult game when they played at St Mary's, gave City a tough game at the Etihad. So it was, potential to be a bit of a banana skin, I would say, given the fact we've already lost to Ipswich this season. And we took that pressure and absolutely thrived in it. We battered them 5-0, and just what we needed, isn't it, Ash?
Yeah, I thought it was perfect timing, perfect opponent for us, seeing how, we've been performing of late, some of the results. And we were due, I think, that type of result where, someone's on the end of a hiding, because the way we play is very attacking. They like to play out from the back. We will force a lot of errors indirectly. And I think we really played to that level today. There was a lot of big performances, in my opinion. From, you say, Maddison, Spence, I thought was exceptional today. Albeit it was the bottom of the league team, but nonetheless, you still have to beat the team that's in front of you. And I think for most fans right now, because they still got that kind of hangover, there were a lot of Spurs fans that were pessimistic going into this game. Wasn't sure if we would get over the line. But
Ben predicted a draw going into this game.
Did he? Yeah. Imagine. No, I was quite optimistic. I thought we would win this game. I wasn't sure about the United or the Liverpool game to come. And I think where most fans' heads are at the moment is, can we get a run together? Can Ange go more than 3 games unbeaten? Do you know what I mean? Can we win back-to-back games and, use this as a stepping stone? But it's just typical that, after, I think it was our first win since City, wasn't it?
It's our first win since City, yeah.
And so, yeah.
Second win in 9 games.
Yeah. So when you say it like that, we still got a lot of work to do. And you still got a bit to do. We do climb the table from 13th, was we before?
Yeah, we are up into 10th now.
We're into 10th right now. So that is positive.
And, as much as we're down in 10th, we closed the gap to 5th to 4 points, 5 points off Forest. Forest are currently 4th on 28, so 5 points behind them. So it's extremely congested. A couple of wins, all of a sudden, you're looking at the top 5 again. So that's a positive.
Yeah, we are ahead of some of our competitors. I know Manchester United got an important win today as well. So it's important that we keep pushing on. Europa is important, I think, to finish in that kind of position. Champions League is obviously the aim, but we're quite a way off of that. But I think to keep players, because I think that's a concern for a lot of fans at the moment. If we're not playing in those type of top tier, European competitions, it's going to be harder to keep hold of players and to build on that as well, because we want to attract top talents as well. And if we're not in that type of conversation, that's when things become a bit of a problem. We start to see a bit of a drop off. But, coming back into this game, I just thought, the only thing I would say is I would like to see Dom Solanke a little bit higher up. I did notice that the centre-backs were a little bit deeper today. And so fair play to Ange, he tweaked a little bit, The full-backs weren't inverting as much, in my opinion, especially on that right-hand side when Spence started. I thought he was on the outside a bit more. Kulu as well didn't really tuck in as much. Normally we're seeing him kind of, advance into that midfield a bit more. But he kind of held that right-hand side a bit more disciplined, and it helped our overall structure. I think Song was the furthest forward. He got his just deserves as well. Could he have been more clinical? Yeah, some would argue, but overall I was happy with his performance and the positions he was taking up to get those chances as well. But yeah, I thought we looked quite dominant as well in that midfield when we needed to be transitional. When we had to do kind of like mid-block, at times we did that. We worked with him, and we controlled the game as well. I felt there was a level of control. We knew when to slow it down, albeit in the second half we didn't create that much chances. But it was good to see both sides of Spurs not just attacking, but also controlling the tempo, slowing it down, weathering storms when needed be. Not that they created too much in that second half anyway, but that was my assessment of it.
Yeah, I think second half was always going to be a bit of a drop-off, especially 5-0 up. They were probably waiting for the game to finish, and we know we've got a lot of injuries. We don't really need to keep pushing and keep pressing and hounding, albeit there was. I'm not saying we put in no effort. It was just clearly we eased it off in that second half. I think that was clear. But first half was so dominant. Obviously, no one expected us to be 5-0 up at half time, which is exactly what we needed, and showed what we're still capable of. I know it's against Southampton, but it still showed because early start against Chelsea we were 2-0 up in that game, and obviously we let it slip. But I said in the preview, if we have that start in this game and we're 2-0 up, we're not going to let it slip. In fact, we'll probably push on. That's exactly what we did. So obviously, big talking points. Starts for Spence and Bergvall. Spence, within a minute, getting a brilliant assist for Maddison's goal in that first minute. And, was today for you, Spence maybe not answering back, but like showing or asking the question, why haven't I been played more after that performance? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, on the half turn, that's what you want to see from players, evading pressure. Cool and collective under pressure as well. First touch, close to the body, getting it out of his feet, making those runs in behind. Because sometimes I was saying it's not always what he's doing on the ball, it's what he's doing off the ball as well. Even in terms of when we're attacking, he's making runs into the box, runs into the half space, taking players with him, being a threat. And then also defending. I said, look at that engine on him to be able to sprint back and help his team out. So also as well, when he was defending in those tight areas, he didn't give any free kicks away, I felt. I felt he was quite mature in that particular area and helping out Archie Gray a lot when he did switch over onto the left-hand side, because he didn't just play right back, he played left back as well. So showing his versatility. And his game didn't alter. Some players, they might drop off. He still was passing with the same, precision. Also, weight of pass was good, even on that left-hand side, helping some of our attacks on that side as well. And it's just showing his flexibility. So he was asking a lot of questions, saying, why haven't I been playing since that Coventry game?
Within a minute, he gets that assist. And what a great assist it was as well.
Brilliant assist it was. As I said, the weight of pass was perfect for Maddison. Maddison didn't have to do too much, in my opinion, after that ball was played in from Spence to bring it home. And may long continue. And now Porro has got questions now that he's there. We'll have to wait to see what happens with Doggy, because obviously he picked up a thigh injury. It looked like a muscle strain. I'm not too sure, but we'll see what happens in that next game, whether he's rested and if he'll be fit to play against Manchester United, or if we're going to have to see Spence as a left back. We'll have to wait and see. But overall for me, I was happy with Spence and what he brought to that team, especially that we didn't have experience all across the back four in terms of Archie Gray having to fill in as a centre back. You need someone to help out, and I think he did well.
Yeah, and as you say, it was in terms of squad selection and having players available in terms of for the future of this season, there was a lot of positives there. As you say, Gray had his first start in the Premier League as a centre-back and kept a clean sheet. I know, again, it's only Southampton, but we know that they can be a good... they can play some good football at times, and he obviously dealt with Adam Armstrong very, very comfortably. Lucas Bergvall, let's talk about him. Obviously, a start, he played 90 minutes in the end, didn't he? Did end up getting booked, but was a fairly accomplished display. I thought built off those good cameos he's had, and he's come into the team. I don't think he was maybe outstanding in that midfield, but he didn't look out of his depth, should we say. He didn't look like he belonged there.
I agree. There was times when I was like, as a midfielder, you need to take less touches at times. I think that comes down to scanning, knowing the pitch, and also your teammates. They need to help you out, have a little talk to you to say, look, maybe less touches there. I'm here, I'm free. But I did like any time he was available, he was coming short, or he was trying to pick up areas of the pitch where he made himself available, especially central. And as a midfielder, you need to pick up those positions. It's very important that you hold your position and you're not ill-disciplined. And I felt he showed that discipline in that position. What I'd like to see more of him do is that kind of, and I know he's got it in his locker, the switches of play, those balls over the top, long balls, that would kind of help the team overall and give something a little bit different to what maybe Basuma offers, because you know Basuma, in terms of range of passing, doesn't always demonstrate that range, and I think that's what Bergvall could improve on. But overall, I would say, again, I would have to agree. Obviously, he got a bit of cramp at the end, and that's expected because he hasn't played that many games, so he's getting used to the pace and the speed of the game. But yeah, he didn't shy away from me, especially those opening moments. He was quite assertive, getting forward as well, and he mixed it up well with Sarr. It wasn't always him in the six. Sometimes he pushed forward and Sarr was able to swap over, and sometimes he was happy to be in the six and take the ball off like Forster from the goal kicks, etc., and from the centre backs. He was able to drop in and then progress the ball and do little things like that. So yeah, man, I'm happy with Bergvall.
Yeah, I think he did well, and 5-0 win on his Premier League debut. That should give him the world of confidence. Obviously, Dorrington came on late on as well, made his Premier League debut. Lancashire as well. We ended the game with 4 teenagers on the pitch. Apparently, I'm just reading on Twitter, Spurs are the first team in the Premier League this season to have 4 teenagers on the pitch at the same time. So that goes to show, first of all, how stretched we are squad-wise, but also the potential we do have for the future of this team. And obviously, people are not happy with where we are in the league, and understandably so, but it shouldn't be denied that we do have a good crop of players coming through and a lot of talent, and hopefully with patience that crop of players will come to pass and will be very beneficial.
Just on that really quickly, we did say in commentary that Dorrington did make a mistake there, but at the same time he needs to learn, do you know what I mean, and have those mistakes. And perfect scenario to come in at 5-0 up, do you know what I mean, against Southampton, who's struggling for form, and be allowed to make those mistakes away from home and learn on the job, because that's the only way it's going to do. That's the only way the manager's going to see if he's ready or not, by him making those small little errors to see if he can cope with the pace and tenacity and decision making. Because I feel like for a lot of young players, they do have the skill set, they do have the profiles, the characteristics that we need in our team, but it's just whether they have A, the mentality, and B, I would say just the actual football IQ, knowing when to make that forward pass or to make a brave pass, and then knowing when actually, no, I need to keep it simple and short and keep the ball ticking and maybe not put the team under pressure. I think that's what separates the Diblins from someone from our side, an 18-year-old coming in and trying to earn a trade, if that makes sense.
Definitely. In terms of our big hitters that have come under, especially recently, quite a lot of criticism. Talk about James Maddison. Got 2 goals today, 2 really good finishes as well from him. One late run in the box, obviously, good ball from Spence in behind, good finish 1-on-1, and then the second one, brilliant finish from a tight angle. That takes his tally to in 12 goal contributions in 13 starts. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive numbers for him, and for a player that's come under a lot of criticism, for not having a good season. Are those numbers not reflective of how good he's been, do you think?
If I'm going to play devil's advocate, or angel's advocate, should I say, I would say that when we're playing the big games, or important games, when we're struggling, that's when you look to your talisman. That's when you look towards your Mavericks. That's when you look towards James Maddison and picking up the team, lifting the team up, getting the game by the scruff of the neck. And I think too many times when we have struggled against our opposition, where the momentum's actually gone against us and the tide's turned, we look for those type of players. And then people have criticised Spurs not having leaders. That's when you're looking for Maddison's. And I think that's when he's been criticised. And not so much because of the physical element. I think that's a part of it. In Premiership, you need power and physicality. But I would disagree, and I agree with you, Sim.
That goal contributions.
He's a player that lots of players are going to target, and try and foul. And because his feet are so quick, we mentioned that, he's going to be drawing a lot of players in to try and tackle him and losing those duels. But actually, I think with Maddison, play him in the right position, play him further forward, and you're going to see the best of him. So it's down to players like Sarr and Bergvall to do their job, to allow Maddison to thrive. It's not a single man job. But yeah, I agree with you. You said before, I think the critique on Maddison is harsh, seeing that he's actually performing better than Kulu in terms of output. And it's what do? Do you look at output or do you look at aesthetics? And I think That's what people are doing with Kulu at the moment.
Yeah, but Maddison sometimes gets criticised for not having the output, and then this season, as I say, it's 11 goal contributions in 13 starts. Like that's good output.
It doesn't lie. The stats don't lie. So
right, so that shows he's still providing, and we're only halfway through the season, so that could do well. Talking about another player, another big hitter in Heung-min Son. 1 goal and 2 assists tonight in what was a very, very strong performance from him, and they struggled to contain Sonny, I think, for a lot of that game. Again, for him, 12 starts, 11 goal contributions. So again, he's been coming in for a lot of criticism, but do you think it's been overboard, or do you think the criticism for him, about him being washed and all this stuff, is that fair criticism?
Again, like that's the whole, is he the captain, is he vocal enough? I think against the Chelsea team, he came off crying. Do you know what I mean? Do you want that from your captain? I think so. Some of the critique has been harsh because they're saying he's lost a yard of pace. I just think he hasn't been as sharp in front of goal, in my opinion. I think that's where he's let himself down, and he knows that. You can see when he's missing chances that he expects a lot more from himself. And I think where it is, because he's playing out wide, he's playing on the left, people associate a left winger to be tricky and beat their man on the outside all the time. And I don't think Son does that frequently. I think at times, yes, he can do it, but at times he comes inside, he drifts inside, he kind of runs in that kind of half space in the pockets, gets in the box, and then that's when he gets his bread and butter, he gets his shots on goal. We saw it against Chelsea at times when he did get the ball outside the box and try to do those old school curlers that he used to do all the time. And I think fans want to see that a lot more. And they know Son's level. And when we're not seeing that, and I asked you, what's acceptable for Son, for the end of the season? You said 10 goals and 10 assists. And I said, for Son, that's probably one of his lower goal contributions for the season. Do you know what I mean? At this stage already, he's got 6 goals, I think it is.
It's 5 goals and 6 assists.
Well, 5 goals and 6 assists.
I'm saying in 12 starts, because he's been injured as well. Yeah, again, 11 goal contribution. So his output is still there, clearly. His output is still fairly consistently getting goals and assists, it shows to me. And I know, look, he got 3 today, so that bumps up the numbers a bit. But still, I think... even against Chelsea, I know, again, he missed a few chances, but he still ended up scoring a goal. I think at the moment... I think he's coming for a lot of criticism, but I think he's playing better than people give him credit for, in my opinion. And I know he's missed some big chances, especially against Roma, against Chelsea. He missed some big chances in recent games, but I don't think yet it's evidence that he's finished or anything like that. I think I think he's still got so much to provide and give. And clearly, we took him off at half time because we want to manage his minutes and keep him fresh for Thursday. But when he's playing like he did today and he looks fresh and his output is there, you can understand that. And as I say, stats wise, his goal contributions total is still pretty strong. So let's just hope he keeps going from strength to strength. But look, clean sheet tonight, obviously against a very weak Southampton team, but obviously a clean sheet with Forster, Gray, Spence in the back line. As much as we're playing weak opposition, how much praise do you give the defence for just making sure we didn't concede a goal?
The main thing is, I think they didn't make any mistakes. Do you know what I mean? I think sometimes we give teams goals where are kind of our own downfall. And what I mean by that, sometimes in the build-up play, the first phase of attack, when we're trying to progress the ball, we often make mistakes in that kind of area. And so we let teams back into the game. But I felt like today, especially from the centre-backs, when we're playing sometimes in those channels, when we're playing out wide, the centre-backs were quite assured. So same with Forster and goal as well. I think him passing out from the back was better. He made those decisions a bit early, didn't take too many touches on the ball, and that helped the centre-backs get more time on the ball, and they can get their head up and play out. And I think that's a massive part of the way we play. Actual defending-wise, I thought Dragusin was the better of the two, if I'm being totally honest. And that was expected because he is a centre-back. You can see that he is a great box defender, and he got across his man, covered a lot of ground when needed to be, and did great challenges. I thought at the end, there was a great challenge actually by Archie Gray, where Southampton were coming across in the 6-yard box. There was a great ball into the box. I can't remember who it was. And he makes that last-ditch leg out, and it comes off him, and it goes off for a corner, goes over the bar. And I thought, Archie Gray did well there, using his almost like instinctive. Do you know what I mean? And
do you think not enough has been made of Gray this season in terms of an 18-year-old who's played full back, left back, right back, now coming at centre back past couple games? and has been looked pretty adequate in like all those positions. He hasn't even played in midfield yet, and for an 18-year-old to do that with the composure and the quality he's done it with, doesn't that just show what talent we have on our hands?
Do you know what it is, Sim? I think because the price tag has always come along with Archie Gray, the expectation that he would start in midfield, and the fact that we are seeing him play out of position, I think that's.
But you need players like Gray, don't you? Versatile, filling themselves.
I hear you. I just think there's been times where in games where, despite him playing left back, despite him playing right back, despite him playing centre back, on the ball, when you do have a chance, you do get to see him. Decision making again. There's times I've seen him run out with the ball, and then like give it away in that particular area. If I'm nitpicking, do you know what I mean? And I know it's not his position, do you know what I mean? So I'm not going to string him up for that. But like the times you do get to see him on the ball, you're wondering, what's his range of pass like? Against, was it Galatasaray? I can't remember what it was. And he put a ball into, I think he was playing fullback. And he plays a ball into Lancashire for the goal. I thought that was excellent.
Yeah,
so
brilliant.
That was
goal,
brilliant.
Yeah.
So like, there's moments where I'm like, actually, you know what? He can do it. Do you know what I mean?
I just think people aren't speaking enough about what a talent he is in terms of what we've seen already in the Tottenham shirt. I think he's been fantastic, and I think he's been asked to do so many different roles, and he's adapted in each role. Like he even plays at left back sometimes, and he just adapts and he puts in a really good shift. And to do that at 18, play all these different roles at such a asked to play all these different things from Ange Postecoglou, and just because he's, not playing like Trent every game, like people think this guy isn't like an amazing talent. This guy's been brilliant. And I think today, centre-back in a Premier League game, I don't care if it's the bottom league, these guys, an 18-year-old midfielder playing at centre-back, and we've kept a clean sheet and he hasn't looked out of place. I think he deserves so much praise for how he's adapted to what has been, just in terms of the roles he's been asked, probably a difficult start to the season for him. I think probably at the start of the season, he expected, I'm going to probably fill in a right back and play in midfield. That's probably thought. And because of all the injuries, because of all the circumstances, he's had to play all these different roles and do all this adaptation. And I think he's done a brilliant job. I really do. I want to give him a lot of props because I think he's been fantastic. And he's done everything with an element of composure, which is very rare to be seen in an 18-year-old, I think. And I think he deserves a lot of praise for me. But look, at the end of the day, it was only Southampton. That's what people will say. In terms of Ange in, Ange out, do you think the needle was moved at all after a game like today? Like, do you think people has it bought them time? Has it not changed anything? Has it not bought them any time? Like, obviously, a lot of people are saying if we lose today, a lot of people are saying he's got to go. But obviously, we're still expected to win. But 5-0, a lot of people probably expected a bit more of a difficult game than that, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I don't think people are predicting the 5-0 off the back of the losses, the draws. And also, it's not just the results, Sim, it's the performances. I think that's where fans have kind of been frustrated. And against the bottom team, you're expected to beat at least that. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the bare minimum. So I think some of the people that might have been Ange out, I don't think the needle would have moved from them because they would look at it like that, if that makes sense. And I said it before, it's all about Ange putting a run together because let's face it, if we are to hold on to players and attract players, we need to be higher up the table, despite being Tottenham Hotspur. Do you know what I mean? Despite having a massive stadium and a desirable facilities in terms of the training ground, etc., we have to be honest with ourselves. Do you know what I mean? And so we have struggled for consistency, and that's what's needed to whinge the Ange outers, I think, in my opinion.
It's a very big period now between now and probably until that FA Cup game. We've got United in the Cup on Thursday, which is a massive game. Liverpool at home on the following Sunday. Jeez. Then Forest away, who are in great form. Wolves at home, and then Newcastle at home as well. So
Wolves might have a new manager by then.
Wolves probably will have a new manager by then.
Wolves, but not a bogey team, but we have struggled of late against Wolverhampton for whatever reason. Do you know what I mean? Nottingham Forest, great form at the moment, and they're 5th or 4th at the moment.
Not saying any of these games will be easy, or that none of these games clearly at the moment for Spurs, nothing's guaranteed. But hopefully that could be a chance for us to gain some more points. Look, at the moment, we're sitting in 10th. We are sitting in 10th on goal difference, by the way. It's level on points with Brentford and Newcastle. We're only 1 point ahead of United in 13th. But on the flip side, we are 3 points away. Sorry, we're 2 points away from 6th, Aston Villa. We're 5 points away from Man City in 5th. We're 6 points, or 5 points, sorry, 4 points away from City in 5th. Was 4 points away from City in 5th, 5 points away from Forest in 4th. Bit of a tongue twister, this. And whisper it very, very quietly. We're 7 points away from Arsenal in 3rd as well. So,
Oh, damn.
I'm just whispering it quietly. Don't shout it. We're 7 points away from
Oh,
Arsenal.
wow.
But yeah, look, as much as we're not, it's not going to change anyone's mind beating Southampton 5-0. It's still a very good win. There's a lot of positives to take. And if you're looking for Spurs to go on a run and looking for us to turn around this poor form, it has to start somewhere. And hopefully that can be a starting point. That's something to build on. Yeah. So, all right. Yes. But look, that is your instant match reaction to Tottenham's 5-0 victory at St Mary's. A brilliant win, much needed win, it's fair to say. But now it's your chance to have your say. We have fans waiting in the background to come on and have their say about Ange Postecoglou, about Tottenham. Is this a turning point for Spurs against Southampton? Let's start getting some fans on. So first up, we're going to talk to 6 Yard Box about today's victory. How are you doing, mate? Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, 6 Yard.
Boys, are you all right?
You look tired.
We're good.
I'm sure being a Spurs fan is tiring for everyone. I'd give you
that.
Yeah. But tell me, today, 5-0 victory against Southampton. What are your thoughts on the victory and in terms of the conclusions you can take from it?
I think for me, just the 3 points. That's the key thing for me. Coming into that game, we were just getting the 3 points, and the young lads are coming. Bogval and Sarr played really well, and it's just 3 points for me. The performance was really good as well, just like an added bonus on top of it. But 3 points in the bag. We move on. All the boys came in. Like somebody said, Tottenham are using the kids. They are taking kids out of school and they are using them. We are using the kids. So, that's just the way it is. I'm just so happy because of the 3 points, and then we move on.
Do you think, like, if we had the full strength team, we win by more, or you don't think it made a difference?
I think looking at the way the Southampton, the way that I think if we had our full strength, we might win more. But football don't work that way, if you, especially at Tottenham anyway. So you gotta have to be careful in terms of saying, okay, if we had our first 11, we're gonna smash them. And it's all about getting results and building, going on a couple of runs, and then you build results, and then you just roll teams over. But we are not there yet. And the injuries as well, just pray that everything settles down. We stop having these injuries. And, I'm really happy for Archie, to be honest. That boy is just incredible. He plays so many different positions. I think he's 40 million. It should be 80 million probably, because he's playing different positions and he's not really, he's really coping with those positions in the Premier League as well, playing against different top teams, and, he's doing really well. And, we're just so lucky that we've got a bunch of young kids that they are not afraid to play football in the Premier League.
Obviously, we needed that 3 points today, and it was a bit, in terms of the context of our season, if we would have dropped points again, the pressure piles even more on the manager. So how much pressure did it relieve, that victory, and how big is it now in terms of looking at the Thursday big game in the Carabao Cup, the quarterfinal? For you, does Ange's job hinge on that game potentially if he loses? And also big selection headaches now with Bergvall and Spence starting tonight. What are your thoughts about them playing on Thursday as well?
I think Ange's the manager. For me, I never thought he was under pressure. I think that may be coming from the fan. I think maybe not now. Maybe if we look at maybe by February, March, if we are still dangling around 10th, 11th, then maybe he might be under pressure because, the chairman is always worrying about his wallet will be vibrating probably. So, it's that's when I think it might be under pressure. But I've always said, and I've said, and I'll say again, I think it would be a big mistake if we keep sack this guy and got another person in. We're just going around in circles, and looking at the way the way they run the club as well. I think Sim, you mentioned earlier about something about the way we're going to do it in terms of buying not too expensive. We're not going to go crazy and buy. Fans keep talking about, oh, we're going to sign Williams and all that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, where are these guys? Where have you guys been 25 years plus? Stop dreaming, man. Wake up to reality. If we're going to do anything, we're going to do it a different way. And, that's the way we're going to go. So I never felt it was under any pressure. But this game has helped him as well. And hopefully we can beat Manchester United midweek and then play Liverpool. And we can beat anybody on our day. I think that's the feeling I get with the team anyway.
In terms of Spence and Bergvall, are you thinking about starting them on Thursday, or do you think Basuma comes straight back in and we drop Spence again?
Maybe Bergvall. I think he pulled up earlier as well, and maybe. I don't know. Maybe I might think of giving him a rest or something, because it's very difficult when you've not played a lot of football, and for you to come in and play 90 minutes and play more minutes consistently might you might get all this all these kind of injuries. But yeah, I think Ange is the man who can make that decision, and I think the guys that come in today, they played really, really well, and just a case of. He's the one that sees them Monday to Friday, so he knows how many minutes a player can give me, and he knows all the recovery times as well. Because sometimes, different players, they recover at different times. So for you to get the maximum output from them, so yeah, they got the stats down. We don't have those stats, so that's why they're in a better position to make the decisions.
Do you believe that Spurs can kick on and go on a run? Do you think Ange has got that?
I think it's all about because the way I look at it, I factor all the stuff going on in terms of injuries and all that kind of stuff. But I think with the fixtures that we have as well, we got tough teams, man. So maybe with a different set of fixtures, I might have a little bit more confidence. But we're gonna see. We can all speculate and think of the future and think we can predict the lottery numbers and all that kind of stuff. But we're only going to know, like, if you beat United now, that's a little bit of a run. Then we go into Liverpool. If we draw against Liverpool or don't lose at home, that's good. And then Wolves, new manager and all that kind of stuff, I think we can beat them. Then we just take it from there, But we need to get those players back. I think people should not think, oh, because all these guys are in and they're doing well, they're still young, they're going to make mistakes, forms are going to drop. But we need our big players fit, and then hopefully we can put some runs together.
All right, 6-yard box. Appreciate your call as always, mate. Thanks for calling in, and we'll speak to you very soon.
Thank you, boss. Thank you. Cheers.
Later, bro.
Some quotes here from Ange before we get the next call on. He was talking about Lucas Bergvall, saying Lucas is growing all the time. Archie is 18. How many Premier League teams are starting 2 18-year-olds? Jed has had to bide his time, as it's one area we've got cover with Pedro and Archie, and it's credit to him and the coaches who have worked with him so he could come in and make an impact as he did. So praise for Lucas, Archie and Jed there from Ange Postecoglou. For one person I know, it will be music to his ears hearing praise, is Ariane. Let's get him on. Ariane, good to see you again as always, mate.
Great.
Thanks for calling in.
Thank you for the introduction. I don't know. I'm out of words. I'm pretty happy. Finally, let's enjoy it while it lasts right now, because that was a great first half, man. That second half was a little bit slow, but I think we had to keep it that way. Hopefully it was on purpose, is all I can say, because I would understand if it was. Great result, 5-0. I think if there was ever if a confidence booster could help us, we couldn't ask for a better one. Now let's see if it will.
Yeah, definitely. And in terms of the key to that 5-0 victory, what do you put it down to? The fact we're playing a team like Southampton, or do you think we just upped our game today? Did you see any Ange tweaks? Bringing in the likes of Bergwijn, Spence, did that reinvigorate us? What conclusions do you take from that?
I think obviously it was both. We know Southampton are not really, the best team in the league. Let's put it that way. What are they on 5 points with probably the lowest goal difference in the league now? So they're obviously not of the highest quality, but also you got to give credit to Ange for the tweaks, particularly I think bringing in Spence. I think he was brilliant. I think absolutely he just offered us some stuff that Porro wasn't. I think Porro was actually quite disappointing when he did come on, unfortunately, after that Udogie injury. I really think that Spence should be working to make that position his now. I think that'd be my thought. I think what he offered, the athleticism, the physicality, just the defensive solidity that Porro just doesn't have. That he just doesn't have. I think last season we were able to kind of hide a little bit behind it and say, no, maybe it's because he inverts and he brings the attacking returns. I think Spence disproved everything today. Within 30 seconds, getting an assist like that and then having a brilliant game defensively until he had to come off. I think he was phenomenal, and I think he was one of the main reasons that we looked. Because I think as soon as he also came off, and as soon as Porro came on, is really when the momentum shifted and we stopped looking like it was square every time we went forward. I think that was one of my favorite.
Oh yeah, he's cut out a bit. Would you start Jed on Thursday?
If he's fit, absolutely. I wouldn't even think about it.
Wow. I know what, because you're just worried that at the end of the game, apparently he was limping. So is that what you're worried about?
Yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, hopefully it's a little cramp, tiredness. He hasn't started a game for Spurs ever. So I would, hopefully it's just not that big of a deal. It's just a little bit of cramp, which would be understandable. But really don't want to be injured, because I think that was a great performance. I think every time Spence has come on, he's looked pretty good. I think the last time, to my memory, was Coventry, where he obviously scored and saved us in the cup. So I think if anyone deserves to be in the cup after that, considering he kept us in it, it would be him. I think definitely he should be starting. Like, absolutely, 100%.
Who was the key player for you in this game? Who was the standout person? I know we had a few good performances, but was there anyone that really impressed you today?
The 3 players who I think were key to that first half, and I think the most important one, and I think he's due his praise, is, it's easy to say Maddison. He's up there. For me, it's Son. I think Son was great today in that first half. I think part of why we lost our dominance in that second half was without Son. I would say him, because some of the stuff he was doing, I know he had some finishes that could have been better, but I think some of the link-up play that really got us going was completely down to Son. Not that he didn't make mistakes, he did, but I think a lot of the good stuff came through Son. Even though, again, Maddison, on the other hand, also obviously phenomenal, 2 goals and an assist. And he was incredible as well. But I think Son was probably the key, and then obviously Spence, who I just spoke about. I think those are the 3 players, and Maddison kind of lost his mojo when Son went off and Spence had to go on the left. And I think those 3 of them working off together. Even Kulusevski was great, but obviously he wasn't quite as influential as he normally is. But I think those 4 players being able to connect the way they did in that first half, like, Maddison, Son, Maddison, Kulusevski, and Spence down that right-hand side especially, that those link-ups were kind of why we looked so dangerous every single time. And then Son, every time he was able to switch it across. I mean, everything was just working out brilliantly. And I think, again, Son was kind of at the center of everything, even though he was off the left. I would give it to Son. I think my key player, and my man of the match of the first half, I would give it to Son, actually.
Son, yeah, and I think Son as well has come under so much unfair criticism because he's missed a few chances. When I actually think in general, like, his general play is not as bad as people, I think, make out. But yeah, look, big performance from him today. And as you say, Maddison obviously got 2 goals. That's for Son this season. That's 11 goal contributions in 12 starts. For Maddison, that's 11 goal contributions in 13 starts. That's decent numbers for people supposedly having poor seasons.
I think people kind of get on their backs because, kind of like the whole team, it's a little unfair to single them out. It's a consistency thing, right? Son is scoring in spurts. Maddison is scoring in spurts. I mean, we all know the games. We can name them: the Brentford game, this game, the Man City game. Like, these are the games that they're showing up, and it's brilliant. But we want them to show up more, and I think that's how people get on their backs. and we have 3 goal scorers who have about 11 or 12 goal contributions, that being Johnson, Madison, and Son now. So, and one hand, it's good because we don't have to rely on one player like we have for the past 5 years. But on the other hand, it's just not been consistent enough, and I think that's how people get a little bit upset, and it's understandable. But hopefully, with time and off the back of this game, we can build on it and get some momentum. We have an important cup game, and I think, like I said, it's important to get these confidence boosters, but they don't always help. But if they were to help, if let's say this team lacked confidence, there's no better confidence booster than this. We'll see if that's what the problem was come Thursday. But I think if we couldn't ask for a better momentum boost than this, if that ends up being a deciding factor.
Go on. No, I was going to say, do you think, just off the back of that, because you did mention the word consistency, do you think for the first time we could put a run together under Ange? Are you confident in performances, knowing that the injuries that we do have at the moment, because our back line is still under threat with a doggy picking up that slight tweak. And then also, Archie Gray having to play centre-back. I would imagine that he would still have to play there on Thursday, and then in our next Premier League game against Liverpool at home. We're not going to have our usual starting centre-backs. Do you still think we can somehow give these better teams with better strikers some trouble and build some momentum going into it?
It's a little tricky because we are kind of in like an area where we're not even sure what the team's going to look like. Like let's imagine a world where, God forbid, Spence and Udogie unavailable for the next game. I don't even know what the team's going to look like. Just saying that. I don't even know. I literally don't even know. What's it going to look like? We have Poro. We've got 2 defenders, 1 center midfielder who's a defender, and then I don't even know what the other one. Like that's where we are right now. So it's difficult. But assuming, let's say, our best case scenario, they're both fine and available. Maybe. I mean, Man United are not really that great of a team. I don't think they're in a dissimilar place than like where Chelsea were 2 seasons ago, where their team just sucks. Like their team just it's bad. It's not good. The manager is not. It's just the team sucks. So given that, I think we could definitely string a couple runs. I think the Liverpool game, no matter what happens, I think people are going to hopefully even the most vehement Ange outers are going to be like, well, it is Liverpool. So hopefully there's not too much emphasis placed on that game. Not that we shouldn't try to go win it, but I think, if we get 2 results here back to back and then Liverpool, whatever it might happen, and then we get another, 2 games without a loss after that, which could happen, not saying it will, not saying it won't, which it's on the cards. I think if we can get a little run going together like that, people would start to calm down. And just if we head into January a little bit unscathed, Bentancur is going to be coming back, and it's just going to slowly be all coming back together. Hopefully that is enough for people to kind of, it'll buy Ange some time, give the club some stability. We go into January, get a little reinforcement, and just push on second half of the season, maybe do whatever we can do. I think that's possible. But we have to see.
Do you agree with that, Reggie being left out the squad? Do you think that's the right move as well, just off the back of that?
Reguilon.
Well,
he can play. He could play on Thursday.
But he was left out today.
Do I agree? Yeah, well...
Do you agree with that?
Well, we don't know.
A doggy went off, obviously. Do you know what I mean? And we're really struggling.
Just a quick quote from Ange on a doggy. He said he felt something, but he wanted to continue, but we can't take risks at the moment. I don't think it's anything too bad. That's what he said.
That's promising.
We have heard that before, though.
With Madison. I remember that.
We have heard that before. But look, let's hope we can just take him at his word for now. But obviously, until we know, we don't know. I guess, could we have played? Maybe, is that the reason he brought Dorrington on? Because we might need him on Thursday?
But the thing is, we don't know Reguilon. And the second thing is, we know his future. The only thing we know for sure with Reguilon, we don't know how well he can play. We don't know how he's doing in training. We don't know anything about his attitude. What we do know is that his future at the club is limited. And when you have so much young talent at the club, 5-0 up, it just seems, obviously you don't know you're going to go 5-0 up going into the game, but I think it seems a little bit, if you are genuinely going for the long-term project, and I think that's kind of the one thing. There's 2 schools of thought here with Ange, where a lot of the decisions he makes in the short term look a little bit silly, like the one you just mentioned. But if you look at it over a longer span of time, it makes sense. And I think if you are a manager and a club who genuinely have a long-term vision, bringing in a player who absolutely, no matter what, is not a part of your plans, it doesn't really just speak to that. When you have so many young defenders, and he said multiple times, we can't be the club who buy young players and then play the senior players when the young players definitely can come and fit in. But when he's talking about Bergvall and Grin, I think that's another example. Like Reguilon just doesn't have a role in this team, so it's just waiting until he gets out, pretty much.
Ariane, in terms of where we sit in the table, 10th. We're now we are 2 points off. 1 point off 13th, but also 2 points off 6th. So it's all very, very tight. Obviously, when it comes to top four with 5 points off Forest in 4th. So it's still very, very tight, isn't it, Ariane? Whisper it very, very quietly, Ariane. We're 7 points off Arsenal.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of that season where Pochettino got sacked, where it was like, we're 14th and Mourinho brought us to 5th. It was like, that was one game. In one game, we jumped like 9 positions. So it's stuff like that. You can read into it as much as you want, but it's not really not that 15 games is early into the season, but it's also not super late into the season. Like you said, it's very tight. We're only about 1 game or 2 games off of 6th and 5th, and then we're going into those narratives again. So it's the position sucks, the record sucks, the fact that we have 7 losses suck. All that stuff is not good, and the tight nature of all of those losses are frustrating. If we get a few more draws in there, it's a completely different season. All of that is true, but if you just look at it kind of 1 game at a time going forward, yeah, absolutely. There's no reason that in a month and a half from now we're not back in the top 4 race. Like, there's no reason that can't happen, and especially depending on the January window and stuff like that. So I'm not going to try and sit here and say, oh, it's all doom and gloom, or the same. I'm not going to, be a bit like my really optimistic self and say, oh, there's no reason why we can't catch 3rd place or 2nd place or whatever it might be. So I think within reason, you can say that the season's like not a write-off. I don't think we're in that territory yet.
All right, Ariane.
Cool, man.
Lovely to speak to you as always, mate. Cheers for calling in.
Yeah, man. If you want to come on Spurs Kings TV as well, bro, I'd love you to come on. I'd love you to come on.
DM
absolutely.
DM me. DM Spurs Kings TV. We'd like to have you on, man.
Okay,
big yourself up, man. Big up, big up.
And as always, come on, you Spurs!
Come on,
you Spurs. Let's go.
Big up, Ariane, as always. Was Brian in the background? Let's get Brian on. So I wonder if he has to go. Let's get him on. Brian.
Big up, Brian.
My guy. How are we doing, Brian? He's on mute. That's how he's doing. Come on. Come on.
There we go. Let's try this again. Boys, how are we doing? How are we doing, guys?
I know it's a brilliant win today, Brian. And one thing I want to ask about you was, despite being 5-0 up for the majority of that game,
yep.
Could you hear the fans from where you were watching the game in the yard? I don't know if you have the commentary on or what. But the fans were very, very loud about Levy and the chants throughout the whole game, despite leading 5-0.
I actually watched the game at home today because I've had a couple of days not feeling right. But what I was going to say and what I will say is, after the Chelsea game, I put a tweet out and I said, I'm so happy the next 2 games are away, because the away fans will do what the home fans won't. And all I will say to the guys at Rangers and the guys and ladies that were at Southampton, I salute you. They were magnificent. They got louder and louder. They were just constant. 1-0, carry on, 2-0, so on and so on. The only thing I want to try and change, and it's not for me to change it, is that I don't care about Levy tune, which I love. I think that final line has to change from all I care about is Kulusevski to all he cares about is making money, for it to make more sense. And then you're cooking. But like I said, I even said man of the match today, the Spurs fans. Performance of the day, the Spurs fans that travel the length and breadth of this great country, England. And they were magnificent today. Fair play to each and every one of them. Brilliant. Brilliant. Now is whether it continues over the next 2 home games.
Yeah.
Brian, I want to ask a question about our striker, Solanke.
Yeah.
Talk to me about him. What's your thoughts on Solanke at the moment? Because obviously
Go on, Ash, sorry.
Yeah, no, go for it. The floor's yours.
I was going to say, I rate Solanke. I'm a fan of Solanke. When we bought him, all the statistics and all the videos people watched showed he had all the attributes to be a hit in this system. but we don't get him any service. Listen, those goals that came today, you look at it, the first one, which is a great ball from Jed Spence, is James Maddison finding the space and running and breaking the lines. The second one, I can't remember now, there's so many. Who's got the second? Son. That ball was going out wide. The third, Sarr coming from deep. I can't remember the order of the goals, but he needs to be in the box more. He needs to be getting amongst the goals. It's a shame he couldn't get on the score sheet today. He needs to be doing more, having more end product, but we've got no service for him. And I think I can understand some of the criticism he's getting, rightfully so, but he's not getting the service. And I even had someone say to me, Harry Kane didn't need service. And I was like, well, Harry Kane, anyone who tries to compare Harry Kane with anyone, you're going to lose the argument because he's one of a kind. But he could create something for himself and shoot from outside the box. That's not Dominic Solanke. We didn't buy Dominic Solanke. Ultimately, we bought Dominic Solanke to do what Harry Kane does and score goals. But you need to give him the service to get them. And I don't think we're giving him the service.
So would you blame Son and Kulusevski for that then? Because they were the wingers at the time. And then I was saying to Sim as well, for Bournemouth, I used to notice his movement a lot. But in this game here, I felt like some of his movement could have been improved on at times, where I want to see him attacking that front post in 6-yard box to get on there and things. I want his first touch to be slightly better so he can get his shot off. I don't know what you thought about the chances he actually did have, if he thought he could do a bit more in those moments.
Well, from what I saw from the stats, I don't know if it's completely correct. I can't remember having one shot. I don't know. I can't remember if he had many more. Like I said, and this isn't me having a pop at the board, because I'd love to have a pop at the board at every opportunity. We should have brought a winger in. We should have bought listen, we bought Odegaard in, but we should have bought one in that could deliver crosses and deliver the ammunition, and then judge him. That's why I think I can't blame Son and Kulusevski, because look, we both know how good they were today. Kulusevski's game this season, why it's been magnificent, hasn't been about getting out wide and assist. It's been his work rate, his positioning, and everything. I think Solanke needs to do more and get more goals, but we need to find someone to unlock the key for him.
Positives today, though, Brian, and there's a lot of them, I think, today. Spence and Bergvall, first Premier League starts. First team this season to have 4 teenagers on the pitch at one time as well. How positive was that for you to see them in a Premier League game?
Do you know what? One of the positives that I don't know if you decided, I'm actually happy with how he performed in the second half. Just conserve your energy. I thought it was a wise move. Just literally, you're 5-0 up. The job is done. Everything is coming. Yes, he made the subs and brought on the youngsters, but we didn't need to keep going full throttle and try to get more. You've literally got the game won and wrapped up. Just go out and take it easy. Just relax, conserve energy. But getting on to the players you mentioned, Sim, I'm going, and Ash, actually, with you two in here. I was kind of having a little conversation with people in the chat before I came on. Brains brought it up about the Bergvall being pushed into the post. Now, I don't understand how that was not a penalty. Now, I had a couple of people, one name I remember was Brian Marsh, say it's because the ball wasn't in play. But I'm sure I've seen, but the thing is, I'm sure I've seen when people are pulling shirts or there's been a push before the ball is kicked. So maybe it's
usually once the corner's been taken, I think.
Yeah, because VAR would intervene. Yeah, VAR would intervene.
But he's lucky to avoid a red, I would say.
That's exactly what I was about to say, Sim. I don't know how that is. Shoving someone straight into the post. Yes, it was his chest or whatever, but that's violent conduct, surely.
Yeah.
Surely that's exactly what violent conduct is. But talking about the youngsters, first of all, let's talk Jed Spence, who came on first Premier League start. Yes, what we have got to remember, this is a very much needed performance, a morale boosting performance against a horrifically poor team. I didn't realise how poor they were. They are horrific. Let's be serious. It's a great morale boosting win. Loads of positives to take. But if we lose to United or lose to Liverpool or both, not saying that we will, then it's like, oh yeah, but we beat just look at it. We beat Man City 4-0. And look what happened. It's now got to be carry on doing this. But getting back to what you said, Simon, I think Archie Gray did really well. And he deserves a lot of credit right now, playing out of position again and doing a job for the team. Bergvall, I think he looked very good. He kind of dwindled after after that incident. But I think one thing he's got to work on is, as much as he's been having these good introductions, he's picking up needless yellow cards, isn't he? He's got that bit about him, like Delhi, that we all loved and all wanted. But he's going to have to, as he's young, he's going to have to learn you can't keep getting away with this. But good performance for him. Brilliant to see Alfie Dorrington. I was getting a bit annoyed with Ange to begin with, but only because the subs he started making was obviously the one for Destiny with Porro had to be done. But then it's Werner and Johnson. It's like, you're 5-0 up, give the youngsters. Bring Langship. But me thinking that, he then went on to do that. So it was like, okay, you've done that. But fair play. And I must admit, I was getting very, very close to for the first time turning on. Just because of the results. Thank you, Ange. Yes, it was against a poor team. Yes, it was. Those players looked like they were playing for the manager, didn't they?
Yeah, I agree.
I think so.
That one down in tools. Listen, Spurs win 5-0. The Spurs fans constantly singing about our owners. Yes, we'll see what happens to Destiny. Great day at the office.
Fantastic. Any kind of hope for you that not that this is going to be a start of like a winning run, but is this something to build on at least in the short term? Can we kind of gain any momentum from this result?
Well, listen, the players that kept played, I think, like you said, well, we'll see what happens with Destiny. Like you were saying with, I think it was Ariane you had on that they don't think it's too bad. I saw across social media that some people were saying it was his quad, some were saying it's back. He'll see Spurs medical team and probably get told he's got a broken arm. Knowing this lot, that's the one. But the defense is going to be stretched.
What do we do if he's injured? What do we do? I guess Spence and
you're going to have to do Spence and Porro. But if people were saying Porro looked a bit knackered, then you've got a problem.
And also Spence was limping at the end of the game as well. Apparently he went off.
Yes, let's just say, listen, if we can't say, right, that's something to build on, that 7 run without, or 1 win in 7 is over. Does this mean, oh my God, it all changes now and we're going to be on a surge to climb up that table, or we're going to get into the semi? Only time will tell. Anyone that thinks that this means we're going to challenge again for top 4 or 5th, at the moment, I think miles apart. But it is a 5-0 win. Lots of positives to take. Like I said, mainly the youngsters. And we see what happens. But if we lose, we can't get too carried away. Enjoy the moment, obviously. But now we go into what? We've got United, then Liverpool, which is going to be a huge test. And we know what Liverpool are like. And then Forest away, which is no goddamn easy game. It's not easy. And then obviously Wolves, who probably will have a new manager, but it's put to bed the poor form. And now we try and use this to build on. Whether we do, that's another question.
All right. Brian.
Big up,
lovely
Brian.
For calling.
Big
as
up
always,
for
mate.
you
Lovely
guys.
to chat to you.
And I will just say once again, I'm not going to do that, but I will say away
coming out.
No, I'm just going to salute the away fans once again and clap them because
Salute
today, mate, what they were back. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone. See you later.
Love.
Oh, Brian's in a good mood today, and I think a lot of people are. Another person who I'm sure is in a good mood is Ross. Let's get Ross on the show. How are we doing, Ross?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Man,
Yeah,
groovy.
look, I think we've all breathed a big sigh of relief today, haven't we? Because we're all worried that if we didn't win that game, the knives would have been out for him. But for you,
Absolutely.
Ross, 5-0 win. But it was the quickest that any team has ever been 4-0 up in a Premier League game, apparently. Is that right?
Yeah.
Because we lost to Newcastle. Well, quicker than that.
I don't know. I can't
Because when
remember.
we lost 6-1 to Newcastle, we were like 3-0 down within 5 minutes or something. I
Yeah,
can't
that was
remember,
pretty fast too. I don't
but
know.
maybe 4-0. But apparently, I read a stat: it's the quickest the team has ever been falling up in a Premier League game. So started fast, and we got the game done by half time. So what conclusions do you take from that win, Ross?
We needed it, and people might say, "Oh, it's just Southampton, only Southampton." Well, it was only Ipswich, right? Wasn't it? You know, back in there. I mean, you got to play who's in front of you. And Southampton, they earned the right to play in the Premier League. I mean, whatever you want to say about it, I mean, as awful as they are, they earned the right to be there. And you got to play who's in front of you. And I guess we like scoring tons of goals at St. Mary's, just like we did with Sonny and Kane back in the day. So, but no, great win. We absolutely needed that. Everybody did. I mean, from top to bottom, needed that win. And great to see Spence. Red Jed Redemption. It's coming back again. I mean, that guy is just I'm so proud of him, so happy for him, and he just brought in, something we needed. Poro's not the best defensively, but he came in and he brought that. And you saw him getting back in the box and doing all those things. And it's just so great to see. We needed it. We needed those young guys to step up, and they did.
Yeah, man. Spence took Poro's chain, man. So I think, I agree with you. Poro has to take a little back seat for now and let Spence just ride it out. I mean, I'm not going to go too overboard because we still need to see more evidence, don't we? Game on game and some consistency. And that goes for all of the players. But talk to me about the 18-year-olds. Has Bergvall done enough for you to kind of push Basuma out? Or do you think it's a bit too soon? He's still got a lot of work to do and Basuma should start, despite having, not the greatest performances in the Spurs shirt of late. Where do you sit on it?
I think Bergvall did excellent today. Really good. Really, showed some composure, showed some something. The thing with the yellow cards, as you say, but that's a young player thing. That's the thing that young players have to deal with and, have to learn to work through. But no, I mean, I don't know if Ange's going to start him in the cup. I'd be fine with it, but I don't know if he's quite just there yet. Spence, absolutely, I think should. But he's definitely earned the right to get into consideration at minimum. I'll definitely say that.
In terms of as well today, Maddison and Son really turning it on. 3 goal contributions for Son, a brace for Maddison as well. This season now for both those players, that's 11 goal contributions for Son in 12 starts and 11 for Maddison in 13 starts. Maddison as well, I just read that he's now level on goals in the Premier League this season with the likes of Watkins and Alexander Isak. So, both players coming in for big criticism in recent weeks especially, but do they answer them tonight, or was it not about tonight? Have the critics been harsh, or do you think the critics have been fair and they need to do more?
No, I mean, this is what these guys are capable of. It shows how important they are to what we do. And, you hear everybody, Son's washed, Son's done, Son's this. Every season. And what does Son do? He comes through. He has his rough patches and he comes through. They used to do that with Kane too. As I always say, form is temporary, class is permanent. And Son always comes through, always works it. Madison too, he can be up and down, but as we see when, on his day, he's as good as anybody, and he's key to everything we do. Just like early last season, that locksmith, unlocking the things, getting down there, being an option, creating. That's what he does, and we need to see more of that. And I'm hoping that this is a time where he needs to realize, hey, we got to kick on here. And with the injuries and everything else like that, I mean, these guys just got to step through. They got to step up. They got to find another way to do it. You can run out the excuses all you want, but at the end of the day, you got to perform.
What's your feelings and thoughts on Archie Gray at the moment? Obviously, he's playing in centre back at the moment, but how do you feel about him?
Love him. He's been the Swiss Army knife for us. I mean, everything, play some center back, okay, play some left back or right back, okay, everything but his natural position. But he does it. He goes out there, he puts in his shift, and he gets the job done. And he's shown a lot of composure and maturity to do that. He's like, oh, I'm playing out of position. No, none of that. He just goes out there and gets it done, and that's what you need. Those are the guys that you need on your team. They're going to go out there and do what's asked of them.
In terms of what that means for our season potentially, and where we're at. Obviously, we're still in 10th, not in a great position, but it's only 5 points off 4th. So, with all these games left to play, it's still, very much all to play for. We've got in the next few games, Man United in the Carabao Cup on Thursday, then Liverpool at home, Forest away, and Wolves at home, and Newcastle at home as well. In that kind of run before the new year, how many points do you reckon? What does Ange need to do to kind of take some pressure off him? Because look, I think the pressure will be a bit relieved tonight, but I don't think everyone realises it's only Southampton who are bottom, so I don't think anyone's going to go overboard. But what do you think Ange needs to do in this run of fixtures just to keep the pressure off him for a bit?
I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, there's, not really easy games. We got to, United in the Cup, and they just won the Manchester Derby, so they're going to be feeling pretty good about themselves. And they're going to want to, win in the Cups. They did that last year. They ended up winning a Cup, and they're going to want to keep doing that, especially for this new manager who hasn't won anything with them yet. And then you've got, and then we only have Liverpool coming to town, and that one. Hey, anything we get out of that, if we get anything out of it, is a bonus. I'm not going to expect too much. But then, go to Forest. I mean, and Forest they've been the surprise of the season so far. I mean, Nuno has got them playing so well. That won't be easy. And, you can say what you want about Wolves, new manager, but they've always given us trouble no matter what. And, I mean, it doesn't really matter who you're playing. You got to come out, you got to bring your A game, and you got to play the best of your ability. It doesn't matter who it is. Even if you're playing a team in the 6th tier or whatever, you still got to bring that. So, you can't use that as an excuse. But we'll say, time will tell. I mean, if we've learned anything this season, it's unpredictability. But, that said, being where we are now, as poorly as we've played at times and the bad performances that we've had, I think we're in a pretty damn good position considering all of that and with the season that we're in. And then we still got guys to come back. So it's just all about staying focused, bringing the A game coming out, and then hopefully the results will take care of themselves.
Yeah, because usually with this amount of losses, you should be a lot further away, shouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
And the fact we're only 5 points off 4th, it sounds, with all those, when we're in 10th, it sounds like a lot, but there's how many games to play? We still got half,
like 20 games.
Yeah, 22 games to play. So
a lot of games.
I mean, 5 points can be cut in a couple of weeks very easily.
Yeah,
Very simple. So still so much to play. As much as being the sight of us in 10th and then Liverpool to come, maybe for another week we might pull back, but hopefully at some point, I've got to remember after that Liverpool game, Bentancur's back as well. So a couple more games and Bentancur's back. Hopefully, we'll maybe Van der Ven will be back after that Liverpool. I don't know when he's going to be back, but hopefully we'll be back, not too distant future. All of a sudden, things might start to look up again, won't they?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this area we're in is so jumbled up right now, and everybody's so close that it's worked to our favor, and we just need to take advantage of that and just try to pick up the points where we can pick them up, get people back, and then we'll see what happens from there.
All right, Ross. Lovely to chat to you as always, mate. Thanks for calling in.
Rose!
Absolutely. As always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on,
you Spurs.
Come on, Ross. Always good to hear some positivity from Ross. Let's hear some more quotes by Ange. On Destiny Doggy, he's gone a bit further. He said, "We'll see how he is. He felt a bit tight in his quad. To be fair, he wanted to continue, but we can't take any risks at the moment, so we took him off with Sonny. With Sonny, I don't think it's anything significant at this stage and more precautionary. But he's worried that he said at this stage. That worries me. If he would have said it's nothing significant, I'll be like, okay. And he said at this stage. Now I'm not sure.
Pulled us back like.
Now I'm not sure.
Yeah,
hopefully, because I remember against West Ham, that was his first game back from injury for him, but he scored a couple goals.
Yeah.
Or one goal, and then he got taken off on 70, and he was like, everyone was like, oh, he's right, he's all right. He was missing for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we still see him again. Yeah.
It's like, if you said he was all right.
This is what Spurs do to you, man. You can never be too sure, man.
He said on Son and Maddison, he said they were brilliant today. I think they sensed that they needed to tonight. We are just spread so thin that we're asking young players and players who haven't played a lot and others who have been playing all the time to go out there and still try to play to our identity and play the football we want to. I thought they both were the catalyst for that tonight, with both the football but also with their mindset just going out there. We had to start strong today. We knew we'd probably run out of gas at the end of the game, considering the lineup we had out there coming off Europe on Thursday. I think the players sensed that, and credit to them, and that they started the game in that way. Yeah, no surprise there, to be honest. And yeah, that's why we need a big squad, because that's the thing. And some people take it as a negative, and some people won't. And some people say he's stubborn. But he said we're asking a lot of young players and players who haven't played a lot to keep to our identity and play the way we want to. That suggests that in this period, he's still asking those players to play with that intensity and play with that aggression. And especially when we have such a thin squad, is it the smart thing to do to keep asking him to play in that way? That's, I guess, what people will question. But on days like today, when winning 5-0, that's the benefit of it, I guess. One person will definitely be questioning it, I'm sure, is Mr. Box Office. Let's get him on.
Box Office, what's going on?
Glad to have you on, mate. I think you're on mute.
Make it quick, though. I need to get home, bro.
I'm on mute. Am I on mute?
No, no.
Yeah, you're good now. You're good.
I'm not on mute.
Alex, how
What are
you
you
doing?
telling me? What are you telling me, bro?
It's Smack, bruv. You know how Mr. Box Office rolls, bruv. Yeah, I mean, you should know by now, bro. You're my boy, bruv. But you know what I mean. You should learn your lesson on that one, mate. First thing I need to ask is, let's bring up Southampton's results. That's a good one. That's a good one to start on. Let's start looking at these results. Yeah.
Their last, didn't they just draw to Brighton?
So they last results. Sorry guys, I'm admin here. Right. So they lost against Wolves. Right. They won against Everton before then. They lost against Liverpool.
3-2.
Right. They drew against Brighton. They lost against Chelsea. They lost against Aston Villa 1-0. And now they've won. They lost 5-0 to Tottenham. So let's be honest here. Everyone expected us to win this game. Everyone expected us. Even I predicted it. Yeah. So this was not a barometer to see whether this is a good game. Showing us that we're back. Let's just get that absolutely clear, right? The fact that now people are saying that Bergval's the next defensive great midfielder is an absolute joke.
Who's saying that?
Well, now everyone's saying now after the game against Rangers, against now Southampton, he looks really good. We need to play him in midfield and all that. And I'm sitting there saying, well, he's no different to Walton. Walton has done more in that Crystal Palace game. Walton, who played against Crystal Palace, right, against us, I saw more from him than I've seen from Bergval. I'm sorry. This is not a barometer. The only thing we learnt about today is, right, when Maddison plays, Tottenham helps them play really well. And forget Kulusevski. Yeah, because I don't rate the player still.
He's
a good player. No, I don't rate Kulusevski. No, I think he's a good player.
Do you not think he's been our best player this season?
Just by minute. Listen, I don't rate the player. Listen, this shouldn't be news to you. Mate, you know this already from me. Yeah, I've been on your show how many times? I told you I don't rate the player. So this is
why don't you rate him?
I don't think he's.
There's nothing he can do to change your mind.
I think he's a good player. I think he's a good player.
There's nothing you can do to change your mind. There's nothing you can do.
Maybe he needs to see. I need to see over a year or 2 years. I'm not being funny. He's only had 5 minutes, 6 months. Then he's been bang average the last how many years? And then really last year he did turn up in a couple of games, which I have said on my channel. But to be honest with you, I still need to see more. I see Cole Palmer's better than him all day long.
Yeah, but you're talking
because
about
I think Cole Palmer, Salah's better than him all day long. Because
no one's putting him in that bracket just yet.
Because I look at him, right? Yeah, he can do certain things which is good. But when you look at Cole Palmer, when I looked at him at Chelsea, when I looked at him, the two players against Chelsea, there was something more with Cole Palmer that I just don't see with Kulusevski. It's a bit rackety with Kulusevski. It doesn't flow really well with Kulusevski. Yeah, he's certain things he looks good, but Cole Palmer, it's just like effortless. That's something special.
Let me ask you a separate question, Mr. Box Office. You said that with Ange, you need to see, and you've always said this, you need to see things go bad first, meaning that with Arsenal and Arteta, you saw what happened, and the board stuck by him through the bad times. When he had the 8th and the 8th, they stuck by him, and you need to see that. Now, we're going through a similar rough patch, would you say? Because obviously, we're like, what, 11th, 10th?
We're 10th.
We're 10th at the moment.
Top half.
We're,
Come on.
we're 10th at the moment. So we could argue this is that kind of rough period. And if the board stick by their man, are you behind it then? Because that's what you were saying from the very start. That was your very consistent message that you always said that, you need to see this board stick by a manager.
I agree with you, and I think they are sticking with him. The only difference is I know seen from.
Oh, he's back.
From,
Gone.
Alex, you were just talking to no one.
Oh, sorry. Right. So yeah,
Basically, okay, we're back. Are we back?
Yeah,
Okay,
we're back.
Go on, Alex. Take it.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Basically, from what I was saying is that I do see the board backing him. Yes. This is me seeing the board backing him. Yes. Right. Because you can see no one said anything. But from what you're seeing from the ITKs, the main people, and I can't remember the names now, but I saw something earlier today. I think it was on American TV. A British journalist said they're still backing Ange Postecoglou. This is a project, they're saying, right? Whether you believe in it, I don't believe in this project because I don't believe in rebuilds because we haven't won anything to do a rebuild as far as I'm concerned, right? But the point is that they backed him. The problem I have with Ange at the moment, he's not a coach. He's not a coach. That's a deal breaker for me. He's not a coach.
What is he?
I think he's just a manager. And for me, I don't think. For me, Tottenham are better with coaches. Pochettino, Martin Jol. You know what I mean? I think Harry Redknapp was the anomaly with them being a manager, but he had good coaches around him. I don't think we've got good coaches at our club at the moment, for me. And I don't see anybody really improving. I think that's a deal breaker for me. I think it's just not going to work out with me for Ange. And that's my issue at the moment. If you watch my last show, I explained the breakdown of why I don't rate Ange, right? So I can't really go into it because everyone needs to go home because it's getting very late. But the point is though, right, is that that's where my real deal breaker is. Like, I made my mind up on Ange. The only thing that I can say at the moment is that if he gets through that game against Manchester United and he wins a trophy, you've got to give him a lot of credit for that. But it's not a great omen because him winning that trophy, the Carabao Cup, even though we would take it, because look at a couple of managers that have won it in the past. George Graham won it, got sacked, got out the door. Ramos won it. Next season, got out the door after winning it. So
no one should ever win the Carabao Cup.
Well, no, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying at the moment there's no blueprint at the moment to say that something's going to go well at the moment. The only thing I know is that for us to develop, because I look at this whole thing of Werner at the moment, yeah, right. You see when Manchester United, Amorim, yeah. He said to the press today, he's taken out Rashford and Garnacho out today. Yeah, he said no, not in the team. What he said was very, very interesting. He says, "What I see, right, from what I've seen and analysed through the club with the two players from the whole club, the way that we're eating, everything that we're doing around the club, and the way that they acted in training and everything else. This is what made my decision, right." Why is Ange not doing that? You see what I'm saying? Because
what did you say?
Because I see that sort of thing, that similar sort of thing I saw with Pochettino. You see, that's a similar sort of thing I saw with Pochettino.
Wouldn't you say though? Obviously, Amorim's at the start of his tenure, and that's why he's able to make those decisions. With Ange, he made it in the summer. We got rid of Højbjerg, got rid of Ndombele, we got rid of Lo Celso, we got rid of basically over 10 players. Yeah. In that window, isn't that him kind of clearing out the squad, doing what Amorim's doing right now? Do you know what I'm saying? And then also, come this January, we might, if possible, get rid of Werner. By the looks of it, he doesn't look too happy with Werner, but he's having to play him because the squad's so thin.
You could be right, but at the moment, that transfer window, has not really proven to be right for him, hasn't it? Because the players that he trusted have let him down. Let's be honest here. The youngsters, okay, we can go over the top of, we can say that they've been okay, right? But the only reason why they're playing is because the first team's not playing. Let's just get that right. You know what I mean? Because Archie Gray and Burval were not even getting a sniff. They were not getting a sniff when the first team was playing. The only reason why now they're playing at the moment is because the first team are letting us down. They're getting injuries, right? Which I'm not feeling sorry for us whatsoever. You know me now, because you know what everyone was talking about at the beginning of the season. We're not going to remind ourselves. So for me, like, yeah, maybe he's made those decisions. Yes, whether he was right about it, there's a question mark for me, because I think there's a lot of big characters there that at the moment I think would be better off in this team. Like I've said before, right, and I'm repeating myself again, right, are better off in this team than some of the players that are back at this club. People are saying Bentancur's out. I don't really care about that reject from Juventus right now. I've got to be honest. He's been found wanting. Basuma has been found wanting, right? Poro has been found wanting, right? People can talk about how Archie Gray, he's been okay, not great. I'm still questioning why he's not in midfield, if I'm really honest with you, because that's supposed to be his position. You know what I mean? Solanke today, what is he doing? You see what I'm saying? Like Johnson, you know, these are some of your players that are supposedly top players. I will give credit to Kulusevski. He works hard. But that should be a standard. Look at Ahmad for Manchester United. That's showing you a performance. You know what I mean? In big games. You know, so you know it's all these things. You know what I mean? This should be a standard. Unfortunately, the level of our standards are so low, right? And like, listen, everyone's deserves to have their own opinion, entitled to their own opinion. But I'm here to challenge the opinion every single time, because I'm fed up of the excuses for this manager. I'm fed up. I can't lie anymore. I've seen this for the last 4 years, been on YouTube, 5 years,
Alex,
and no one's challenged me.
Alex, were you happy about anything today?
What is that sort of a question, Sim, man? Come on now, Sim.
Were you happy about
Yeah,
anything?
Sim, that's what sort of question is that, Sim? You know what I mean? You should know better than that to ask me a question like that.
Why?
Listen,
I'm asking.
mate,
Can you tell me if you're happy about anything today?
Listen, listen. We done well, but they get a blue Peter badge for it, bro. Do it again. Do it again.
So
you know what I mean?
But
I'm sorry.
today, the game happened today. So let's talk about today.
Yeah, but bro, I was expecting him to win the game. I've predicted it on David's channel. Big up to Irish Hotspur. Yeah, I predicted it on their channel. We're gonna win because they play the same way as them. The second half, though, was terrible. Let's be honest here. They were carving us open like everything. I've got to be honest. That dribbling player looks like a good player to me.
Dribbling.
Yeah, he looks like a good player to me.
You should get him.
Dribbling past players. But I bet Andrew ruin him if he came to Tottenham. So like, listen, it's good, but at the same time, I expected us to win the game. Now go on and win another game, and that's it, really, for me. So yeah, I'm not saying that much. I'm not saying I'm not. I'm just okay with it. It's. I can't really feel anything. I can't really get excited about winning against Southampton when I knew we were going to win against Southampton.
Basically, he's saying he needs consistent run of games before he can get on board with anything. Do you know what I mean? So he says this is one game against a bottom team, and yeah, he expected the W. Like,
Alex, look, it's late, so we got to get going. But it's always good to chat to you, mate.
big up box office.
Yeah, big up.
Speak
Take care, guys. Take care, guys.
In a bit.
Bye.
There has been some breaking news since we've been live, and that is our opponents, Southampton, have sacked Russell Martin.
No surprise. No surprise.
Sacked him. I was a bit surprised it happened as soon as the game ended.
I thought it happened at half time.
Maybe it didn't. I was saying, maybe he just walked in at half time. I'm out of here. Is there any more guests? That's it. All right. That is it for today's post-match fan show. We'll be back tomorrow. Ben will be in the studio for all the post-match content of the Southampton game. It's a big, big week ahead for Spurs. So there's going to be a lot of content during this week. So stay tuned on the channel for all of that. But yeah, all the post-match content tomorrow. If you want to check out Ash, you want to see more of Ash?
Oh,
Go
yeah.
subscribe to Spurs Kings TV. The link is in, I think, the title of the video, and it's also in the description. But Ash, what you want to tell the people what's coming up on Spurs Kings TV?
Yeah, man. Obviously, Spurs Kings TV. We're gonna go on Tuesday. We dive a little bit deeper into the tactics, and then we look at players that possibly we could get in January. Also, there'll be a great rival show with loads of Man U fans coming up because it is that time. Biggest game of the season so far, I reckon, up to this date. Quarterfinal against Manchester United. It's going to be a lot of talking points with a few rival fans. But yeah, make sure you tune in, guys. Please make sure you like and share and subscribe to this wonderful channel, first of all. And if you can, join me on Spurs Kings TV.
Nice one. The link is in the chat at the moment. So everyone just go over, show Ash some love, give him some subscribers. And happy days for everyone. Share the love. Share the love. But look, that is all we got for you tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for today's watch along. Thank you, Ash, for being with me to cover all the drama and all the madness today. 5-0 after half time. Come on, top half, people, back in the top half. So something to build on. Let's hope. But look, big win. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.